This is Mac OS Ken.
India gears up for iPhone 17. Apple announces tax-free holiday plans for certain states. And Severance was a seriously big deal in streaming. It is Tuesday, the 15th of July, 2025. I'm Ken Ray, and this is news from Mac OS Ken. Brought to you by yours truly and supported by people like you, patrons through Patreon. Find out more and add your support at patreon.com/MacOSKen. When I first saw this first story, it felt a bit like someone reporting that the sun did, in fact, come out day after yesterday. A piece from India's Economic Times says Foxconn facilities in that country have taken delivery of components for iPhone 17. My immediate thought was, well, yeah, as I say. It's almost time for the next round of iPhones to hit. Why wouldn't Foxconn be getting parts to make them? Yeah, the big deal is the part where it's happening in India, assuming this report is correct. For years, talk has had Apple and Foxconn wanting to start production and launch of new iPhones from both China and India at the same time, something they seem to have accomplished last year for the first time. So the sun did, in fact, come out day after yesterday? Well, hold on. Following an exodus of skilled Chinese engineers from Foxconn's India factories amid China's efforts to restrict technology transfer to rival manufacturing hubs, including India, sources for the Economic Times report say scaling up the iPhone 17 mass production would be challenging. But they're getting the parts. The site sources say those could be meant for trial production, which would likely be good news for Apple. Import tariffs on goods from India into the US are lower than those on goods from China. Speaking of lower prices, Apple's out with this year's list of what can be bought tax-free, where and when. Aimed at easing the cost of technology as back-to-school season rolls around, a piece from Mac Rumors says the 2025 tax-free periods will hit later this month and early next month, with exact dates per state and other details outlined on Apple's site. Slated for Alabama, Arkansas, Massachusetts, New Mexico, Ohio, South Carolina, Tennessee, Virginia, and West Virginia. The report says the tax-free shopping is especially beneficial to students, as the tax savings can be combined with Apple's ongoing back-to-school promotion. While offerings tend to focus on Macs, iPads, and related accessories, they vary state to state. While some states extend the no-tax offers to iPhone and Apple Vision Pro, others allow any item to be purchased tax-free, up to a certain price limit. As mentioned earlier, dates per state and exact offerings are listed on Apple's site. Quickest way to find them is to go to apple.com and search the term tax holiday. How did smartphones grow last quarter? They did not. Unless they did. Kind of depends who you ask. IDC posted a release Monday saying that worldwide smartphone shipments were up 1% in the second quarter of 2025. Meanwhile, a post from Canalys said worldwide smartphone shipments were down 1% in the second quarter of 2025. So I guess about even then. Here's something fun. Headlines for both releases used a form of the word uncertainty. Both also had Apple in second place behind Samsung, each showing iPhone's global market share in the neighborhood of 16%. IDC had iPhone shipments growing 1.5%, while Canalys had them dropping by 2%. So I guess about even then. Canalys sees a flat year ahead for the smartphone market. For its part, IDC sees the market as poised to return to growth. That's based on the 1% growth it claims for the second quarter, despite ongoing political challenges, the impact of war, and the complexities posed by tariffs. The next little round of Apple OS updates is still chugging along. Pieces from Mac Rumors say Apple on Monday seeded the third betas of iOS and iPadOS 18.6 to developers. Those fell in lockstep with third developer betas of macOS Sequoia 15.6, watchOS 11.6, tvOS 18.6, and visionOS 2.6. Members of Apple's public testing program, stand ready. Betas for you will likely follow soon. And finally today, Nielsen is out with the top 10 streaming shows of the year so far, and an Apple TV Plus title is right in the middle of it. 9 to 5 Mac writes up a post from Bloomberg's Screen Time newsletter. According to that, the dystopian workplace drama Severance currently sits in 5th. That puts it behind the Netflix shows Jenny and Georgia and The Night Agent in 4th and 3rd, respectively. Prime Video's Reacher in 2nd, and the Netflix hit Squid Games in 1st. Worth noting, the Nielsen list is streaming only, while the HBO shows The White Lotus and The Last of Us may have actually racked up more hours streaming. They premiered on HBO's linear service, so no room for them on this list. All of that said, given the relatively small number of subscribers for Apple TV Plus compared to its counterparts, that Severance was able to crack the top 10 and make it into the top 5 is pretty significant. macOS Can, brought to you by me and supported by people like you, patrons through Patreon. Find out more and add your support at patreon.com/macOScan. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media, online at backbeatmedia.com. You can find me on Mastodon, macOScan at mastodon.social. You can also send me an email, info@macoscan.com. Until next time, that is news from macOS Ken. I'm Ken Ray.
Ciao.